this woman who's running to become the next president of the United States, instead of keeping her money in the United States, is moving a huge amount of money. Who knows where she got this money? Almost $2 billion out of the United States to Qatar. Hillary's sudden move of $1.8 billion to Qatar Central Bank stuns the financial world. The intriguing Ministry of Finance report circulating the Kremlin today says that the elite Western bankers were, quote, stunned and bewildered, quote, a few hours ago after the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, registered a $1.8 billion transfer from the Clinton Foundation to the Qatar Central Bank through the facilitation abatement of JP Morgan Chase and Company, and for reasons yet to be firmly established. According to this report, the Bank for International Settlements is the world's oldest international financial organization and acts as a prime counterparty for central banks in their financial transactions. The Qatar Central Bank is the bank of that Gulf state nation's government and their bank of banks. JP Morgan Chase and Company is the United States' largest mega bank, and the Clinton Foundation is an international criminal money laundering organization whose clients include the Russian mafia. With Hillary Clinton's U.S. presidential campaign chairman John Podesta having long-standing ties to the Russian mafia and money laundering, the Foreign Intelligence Service maintains complete surveillance of him and his criminal associates, including Hillary Clinton and her husband, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, who are collectively designated as the Clinton crime family. And let's not forget what Donald Trump calls her, Crooked Hillary. On Sunday, 15th of October 2016, the report says, the SRV reported to the Ministry of Finance that Hillary Clinton and John Podesta met with JP Morgan Chase and Company. This was just a few days ago. CEO Jamie Dimon at Clinton's Chappaqua compound outside of New York City, and who in 2009, both President Obama and Hillary Clinton allowed to break U.S. law by his Dimon's being able to buy millions of dollars of his company's stock prior to the public being told his JP Morgan Bank was receiving a Federal Reserve $80 billion credit line, and that caused JP Morgan stocks to soar, and that have had an astonishing 920,000 dividend growth since 2010. So he made a lot of money with this insider information. Within 12 hours of the Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, Jamie Dimon meeting at the Chappaqua compound, the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, registered a transfer of $1.8 billion from the Clinton Foundation to the Qatar Central Bank. So obviously they also made a killing as well, because they had information, insider information, and they also made 920,000 dividend growths and God knows what else. This is just for JP Morgan. Perhaps they also had insider information and invested in other banks as well. To why the Clinton Foundation transferred this huge amount of money, enormous sum of money to Qatar, is due to the long-standing ties between the Islamic neo-patrimonial absolute monarchy and the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who oversaw and managed this massive bribery scheme that allowed the Gulf state nation to secure the 2022 World Cup, and that the Qataris were so appreciative of that they donated millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, and incredibly in 2011 gave former U.S. President Bill Clinton a $1 million birthday present, bringing Hillary's total cash grab from the Persian Gulf sheikhs of $100 million, all occurring as recently released secret emails revealed Hillary Clinton's knowledge that both Qatar and Saudi Arabia were and still are funding extremist terrorist groups, ISIS. To what Jamie Dimon related to Hillary Clinton that caused her to suddenly transfer almost $2 billion to Qatar revolves around his JP Morgan Bank being told by the U.S. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, in April 2016 this year, that this, quote, mega banks, end quote, master plan to save itself had serious deficiencies and could pose serious adverse effects to the financial stability of the United States. 2 months after the FDIC's warning letter to Jamie Dimon in June 2016, he cryptically sounded a warning that the United States subprime auto loan bubble was nearing collapse and stated that someone is going to get hurt, quote unquote. Unbeknownst to the American people, the Ministry of Defense experts explain that just 8 weeks ago, multiple warnings began to be issued that the United States' $1 trillion subprime auto loan bubble was beginning to collapse, and that this past week became so severe the Bank of America issued a recession warning telling its elite customers that, quote, this market is scary, end quote. And the British-based multinational banking and financial services company, HSBC, also did the same, issuing a red alert warning of all its clients, warning them to prepare for a severe market crash. With one of the first victims and casualties of the subprime auto loan bubble being the German global banking giant Deutsche Bank, that is nearing its doom and laying off tens of thousands of its workers worldwide, this report grimly states the American mainstream propaganda media is failing to allow the people of the United States, that nation, to know the full extent of this looming catastrophe, who, unlike Hillary Clinton, who just protected her almost $2 billion of her wealth, will be left defenseless once again at the hands of their elite rulers. As WikiLeaks' secret Hillary Clinton emails have now proven that the U.S. propaganda mainstream media is now totally controlled by her, and who continue their blackout on the Clinton crime story of the century, the absolutely horrifying statistics released this week showing that an astonishing 35% of Americans who have been brutalized by the Obama-Clinton regime these past 8 years are so buried in debt that they can no longer pay their bills is likewise being kept from these most innocent of people. And rather than the U.S. propaganda mainstream media warning the American people of their economic looming destruction, they have instead begun a systematic mainstream misinformation campaign to manipulate the presidential election polls showing Hillary Clinton leading, but that stands opposed to actual but unreported polls showing Donald Trump leading. I just posted yesterday an ABC poll showing that Trump was, I think it was about almost 4,000 people were polled, showing that Donald Trump was at 77% and Hillary Clinton was below Stein at 3%. Critical note, a highly classified SRV amendment to this Ministry of Finance report states that upon Qatar receiving Hillary Clinton almost $2 billion earlier today, one of those Sheikdom's royal places to be ordered emptied in preparation for an early November arrival of a quote-unquote high-value dignitary. Perhaps that high-value dignitary will be Hillary Clinton after the November elections. I'll leave a link below for you for this.